जय व्रज जनरंजना जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज विहारी जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे राम 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 हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे राम 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 जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपादा श्रीला प्रभुपादा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। नाम संकीर्तन की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र जय। हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्णा to all. Welcome you again to another session of the morning session of Shrimad Bhagavatam. We will do Mangalacharan and then we will go on our session. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणा रघुनाथामृतं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सह गणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namachintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purnashiddho Nityamukto Abhinatva Nama Namino Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nigamakalpatarorgalitam Phalam Shukamakadamrita Dravasamyutam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Mukuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki Sarvasya Chaham Hridhi Sannivishto Matha Smita Jnanamapohanam Cha Vedescha Sarve Rahameva Vedyo Vedanta Krit Veda Eva Chaham Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuno Saddharma Sanstapako Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyav Sharanyakaro Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nande Namataliko Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugo Shri Jiva Gopalako Sarva Shastra Bipiyusha Sarva Vedaika Satpala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya Sarva Lokaika Dikprada Sarva Bhagavata Prana Shrimad Bhagavata Prabho Kali Dvando Dittaditya Shri Krishna Parivartita Paramananda Pathaya Prema Varshya Ksharayate Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Shri Krishnaya Namastume Madeka Bandhu Matsangin Madguru Manmahadana Manishtaraka Madbhagya Madananda Namostute Asadu Sadhu Tadain Natini Chochatakara Anamuncha Kadachinmam Plenarat Kantayosvura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vakam karoti vachanam pangam langayate girim Yatkripatamaham bande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramanandam Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwar Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Today maybe we may have less attendees, all busy with Radhashtami preparation, no problem. We go ahead. So we are in the third canto, the status quo, chapter number 6, creation of the universal form. We understood that how Vidura was asked to take the shelter or accept Maitreya Muni as his spiritual master. And then he asked few questions, and in answer to that, Maitreya Muni told him about the pastimes of Lord Krishna in Vrindavan outside Vrindavan. And then afterwards, he tells him about the creation to make us understand how the Lord is omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, right? He to understand his potency, his invariable potency, and how the Lord has taken up so much of tapasya, austerity to create this material world. And because of that, we are now here and giving us a chance to go back to Godhead. So just a small, we will just reiterate this chapter 6, though I will be covering 35, 36, and 37. But, I have this, I want that the full summary so that we come back again, we are in line with the chapter. So we understand that the Lord being so compassionate towards the conditioned soul, he wanted them back to come back to the the Goloka. So that is why he thought about creation, giving them one more chance. So he comes down into the Karna ocean and takes the form of Mahavishnu, Vamsha form of the Lord. Karnodakshay Vishnu, he sees that he creates, right? His glance into the Pradhana, which was unmanifested, which later on become manifested at Mahatattva, and then all the 23 elements were formed. What are those 23 elements? Anybody can volunteer? What were those 23?
Hare Krishna. Panchindriyam. All our senses, sense organs. Manam, Buddhi, Ahankar.
Yes.
Supersoul.
The Tanmatras. Means that these are not the Tanma that we said, yes. So we understand the mind from the mode of Ahankara. First is the Ahankara that comes when it predominates Ahankara into three: goodness, passion, and ignorance. From goodness came out the Dig Devatas, the cosmic Devatas, and the mind. Then came the knowledge, along with the knowledge acquiring senses, the working senses, 5, 5, 10. Then the Tanmatras and the gross elements, right? The sense objects and the sense the gross elements, right? So then later on, Karnodaksha Vishnu saw that they were all suspended, and that the creative function was suspended, right? And there was no combination of the potencies that was taking place. So with his Bibhrita Shakti, the Kali Shakti, the cohesive energy, with this cohesive energy, all the material elements that were formed, they amalgamated, right? And to form the Hiranyagarbha, the golden egg, the golden universe. Yeah, the golden universe, right? And then the Lord, he remained, this golden egg, he remained in the Karna ocean for about thousands of celestial years. Later on, remembering the prayers, right, of the demigods, then the Lord expands himself as Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and he enters into the each universe. And then from him, like how we have the gross body and the subtle body. So it is said that the Garbhodakshai Vishnu subtle body is the Virata Rupa. Then he expands into the Virata Rupa. And from the Virata Rupa, further we understood that it is further classified, the Virata Rupa is further classified as the Jiva Shakti, the Prana Shakti, and the Atma Shakti. Jiva Shakti is the consciousness of the living entity. Prana Shakti, the 10 life airs, and the Atma Shakti, the self-identification, that we saw the Adhyatma, Adibhavta, and the Adideva, right? Then further, we see that we see that how the various varnas were created, the various occupations were created, right? So till 34th verse, that is what we saw, and this is just a schematic representation of what I said now. So can anybody volunteer? This is just a schematic representation. From this, just understand and tell me, rather than reading it, just understand what in your own words you can explain till what stage we have reached. Anybody?
Mataji, so here the demigods after this Pradhana is manifested by the Lord, Pradhana is entered into the this universe. created by the Lord, but it is in the unmanifested state. So, so the demigods, they pray to the Lord for them to function, for them to function. So, as for the purpose for which they have been created by the Lord, they are not functioning. So, only with the sanction of the Lord they can function. Right. So, they are praying to Lord Karanodaka Shai Vishnu for them to give the power to function. So that the Mahatattva will be created. So the Pradhana in the manifested state is known as Mahatattva.
Yeah. Already the Mahatattva is there, and from the Mahatattva itself, this demigods have come, right? The Dig Devatas. And after that, after the 24 elements were formed, and then they offered the prayers, right? In the 5th chapter, towards the end, we understood, right? After all the elements were created, and then they offered the prayers.
Yeah.
Right, Mataji?
Yeah. Yes, Mataji. That's what I was saying.
And then, in answer to the prayers, this is the second stage. There is amalgamation.
Yeah.
Correct? There is amalgamation.
Yes. So after the demigods pray to the Lord, then the Lord sanctions. So that's how the universal egg is being created.
After the creation of the universal, the Hiranyagarbha, then?
So the Lord enters into each and every egg as Garbhodaka Shai, but he lies down over there, filling the universe with water, and he lies down there.
Then Mataji, further, the next step is?
So, so after entering, then he enlightens, means like he
expands. He expands into?
He expands as Garbhodaka, and then
he expands into
Lord is being created, in which the demigods are given the function for which they have to perform.
Very good, Haribol. So Garbhodaksha Vishnu enters, he then expands into Virata Rupa Purusha. This Virata Purusha is differentiated into 3, 1, 10, and 3. And that 3 is, 1 is the consciousness of the Jiva, right, of consciousness of being. Then we understood about the 10 airs. These are the 10 airs, right, which does the various functions of our body. Then the Atma Shakti, the 3 identification, right? We need senses, sense objects, and the senses should have some functionality. So we understand how, right? We are so proud of all our senses. We can sing, we can speak, we can do various activities, but we should understand that beyond this, for our senses also to activate, the Lord has to, the subtle organs are created of the Virata Rupa. That has to function, then only the gross, the organs can function. See, you see, we are so dependent. That is why the creation has been again and again told. There are so many. In the 2nd chapter we said, in the 3rd chapter again, the 5th chapter, 3rd canto again, the 5th chapter, the 6th chapter, elaborately it is giving us an understanding that how the sense organ is there, right? First, we understood that how Adhisthana means the location, right? The Adhisthana is the characteristics of Adi Bhuta, the sense, subtle, the gross sense organs. The sense organs takes up its place, but for that sense organ to have that functionality, right? The subtle sense organ is there. So we should understand that we have a gross body, subtle body. Similarly, the Garbhodaksha Vishnu, the gross, and the subtle is the Virata Rupa. That way we can understand. So the various organs, sense organs came up, right? The mouth came up. So the mouth has the function to speak, the voice, right? Otherwise, how we will express, right? So for that is the sense of Adhyatma, and that is controlled by fire. Then the demigod comes. So we see that these are the second set of demigod. Now we should understand that this all is happening in Sarga, right? So far, even Brahma has not come created. right? He has not come out of the navel. It is all this is happening even before the creation of Brahma, right? The cosmic demigod, the Devatas, first they, because of their prayers, again the Hiranyagarbha was created. Then came the Garbhodaksha Vishnu, the Virata Rupa. And from Virata Rupa, there are the second set of demigods who are coming, who are the controlling deities of these sense organs, right? So we understand that for our nose, our ear, our eyes to function, right? There are some people, right, who are born, who are deaf by birth, right? Who are blind by birth. Why? It is because of their karma. It is because, and some have a good power, good eyesight. Some has good voice, right? They can sing well. Some does not, cannot. So all that degree, to the degree which we get, is to the degree how we surrender our karma, and based on that there are controlling deities who control and give the amount that is eligible for us, right? So we can see how dependent we are, how we are nothing. There is nothing that we can do on our own. It is everything has been given by the Lord. So that is why these chapters have been given to understand the nisahayata of us, that how proud we are of our belongings, but they are nothing. They are just dead matters if that spiritual thing is not there, right? Further, we understand how the body is divided of the Virata Rupa, that the position of various planets, the lower planet along his leg, then the middle we have the earthly planet, and then in the higher planets, the head of the Lord, then various varnas and ashramas. So here in the end, the fourth chapter in what you call in the 34th verse, it said, right, you have to take the shelter of the Guru. That is what we have said. All the the varnas and the occupations has been created, but we have to take the shelter of the Guru, right? So further, is there any doubt in this? Can we go ahead? Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, we can go ahead.
Yes. So verse number 35. Etachattir Bhagavato. Ramakrishna Prabhuji, you can follow. You can recite.
Yes, Mataji.
Etachat. Yeah.
Yeah, please continue, Mataji. I can follow you.
Etachattir Bhagavato.
Etat kshettar bhagavato.
Daiva karmatma rupinaha.
Daiva karmata rupinaha.
Kaha shraddha dayad upakartum.
Kaha shraddha dayat rupa kartum.
Yoga maya balodayam.
Yoga maya balodayam.
Anashya Mataji, the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji, translation by Srila Prabhupada Kiji. O Vidura, who can estimate or measure the transcendental time, work and potency of the gigantic form manifested by the internal potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Thank you.
Very good. So you see, Maitra Muni, we see that Maitra Muni, who had got instructions from Sri Krishna himself, right? And now Maitra Muni is telling that he said that no one can estimate, right? No one can estimate the length, breadth, and time, right, of the work potency of the Lord, right? That so he is infinite, right? Nobody can describe the Supreme Lord fully. The Lord himself sometimes says that, I do not know. It does not mean that he does not know. It is the Lord, he does not leave his devotees. Name Bhakta Pranashyanti, right? Whatever, so in what situation, how the devotees react and what form he has to take. Right? He has to, for his devotee, he has come as a sari, endless sari. He has taken the form of fish. He has taken the form of kurma. He has taken the form of lion man. He has taken so many forms, right? So he, even after being so realized, Maitra Muni is telling that this the creation, the Virata Rupa that has been created by the Lord by his internal potency, even no one can estimate. because the Lord is so merciful. He can come in any form to bless his devotees. I can tell you this a personal experience right now recently during the Janmashtami. Okay, so we had booked a hall over here. It is very difficult to get a venue. So somehow a school was ready to give us their auditorium, but just 2 days before the program, they refused to give the auditorium. But somehow we managed to get one auditorium that was a sports ground. So somehow we managed to get, and each of us were given some activities. So, and for that, in the cultural program, there were many dancers, then a dance comes skit, like that. So, and there was one Prabhu who was given the technical part, and in that auditorium, they had arranged a big screen, a digital screen, and every program, every skit, every dance had a backdrop. So, and he would display it, he would focus it on the screen. So there was this dance by two children, Shri Hari Stotram. They were dancing their Bharatanatyam dance on that. And for that, they had selected the universal form, not the universal form, the Karnadaksha, the Mahavishnu, lying on the Karna ocean, all the universe is coming out, right? And Sri Hari Stotram, it begins like that. Jagat Jala Palam, Kachat Kanta Malam, like, he is the protector of all the universe. He has got a dazzling necklace. Then Sharat Chandra Balam, right? His forehead is just like a autumn moon. And the next line was Mahadaitya Kalam, right? He is the protector. And when that sentence was said, Mahadaitya Kalam, and that's the child was performing that act of, Mahadaitya Kalam. That time on the screen, Narasimha Dev's picture got focused. It was just for a second, and then it went off, and then again it was the Mahavishnu form. And that Prabhu was very much surprised because he was in charge of the program, and he had different PPTs, but in none of the PPT there was Narasimha Dev's picture. And he then, after the program, he played that PPT again for that Hari Stotram, but there was no. So you never know, like, how Lord shows his mercy on his devotees and how he comes to bless. He takes infinite forms. So similarly here, Maitra Muni is telling that you cannot, though he was so elevated, he said you cannot measure the potency of the Lord. But then when the purport Prabhupada is telling, he is giving this frog philosophy just to make us understand that what is the limitation of our mind and senses. So he gives us this frog philosophy. Does anyone know about this frog philosophy which is mentioned? Many of the in 3-4, even in the second canto,
the frog is in the well. I think
yes,
that
yes. Yes, Mataji. You can tell that how it is described.
Yeah, it's the frog is hearing that the ocean is very big and we cannot reach it, so it's unlimited like that. It's hearing, but to its limited sense, it cannot understand. So when he is in the well, he thinks that okay, this is the ocean. The well contains only a limited amount of water, right? But this frog is not knowing about it. So it's thinking, yeah.
Yes. So this is a frog with its community living in a well, which is very close to the ocean, right? For them, that is their world. There is nothing beyond that, and they do not know also beyond that. So there was one frog who was a big athlete, among them. He jumped out of the well and he went towards the beach and he saw the ocean and he was very surprised to see this ocean. He couldn't fathom, what is this? So he came back and he told the leader of them that, there is something bigger than this. So the leader, just like the mental speculator, he drank 2 gulps of water and he's telling, is it twice as big as this? He said, no, bigger than that. He drank 4 times. Is it like that? 4 times this? No. 6 times, 10 times. And because of that, it burst. That frog burst and it died. So similarly, the Lord is, Prabhupada explains, such as the mental speculators, based on their mental speculation, they are trying to estimate the potency of the Lord, which is not possible. right? Prabhupada always compare that to the scientists. They are trying to understand the Lord by inductive process, right? Their logic of thinking. And then they come to conclusion, like how in this material world, they come up with some medicine. They try it on a few people, right? And then they see that what is the outcome of it. And then the average that they come. But such average cannot be correct always. There is always a difference, right? So he should say, Prabhupada say that never try to understand Lord by the inductive process. It always should be deductive. Deductive means it should be in the parampara. The Lord says, right, in Bhagavad Gita 14.4, right? What does it say? Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiya tasam brahma mahat yonir aham bija pradapita. I am the seed giver. Therefore, the Lord knows everything about each. Nobody is left out. And he has given this information to his disciple from Brahma, Narad Muni, and then so on. So it is through the disciplic succession, we should understand the Lord. So here we see how Arjuna, right? Arjuna was a recognized devotee of the Lord. As a result of this, Arjuna, can somebody recite this verse? Bhagavad Gita 11.16. Yes, Mataji.
अनेक बाहोदर वक्त्र नेत्रं पश्यामि त्वां सर्वतोऽनन्तरूपं नान्तं न मध्यं न पुनस्तवादिं पश्यामि विश्वेश्वर विश्वरूप.
Very good. Pashyami Vishweshwara Vishwarupa. God, Arjuna, the recognized devotee of the Lord, he was able to see the Vishwarupa. Somebody's mic is on. Yeah. So even he was given the divine vision. Then he was able to see the Supreme Lord. He saw the Vishwarup having thousands of heads, thousands of mouths. He saw all the pastimes of the Lord, right? He saw himself in it. But even after getting the divine vision, he was not able to estimate the length and breadth of the potency of the Lord, right? So this is that is what Prabhupada say. And these what do you call, the mental speculators, through their speculation, they try to understand the Lord. This is because of their poor fund of knowledge, that they are trying to understand the Lord, who is Adokshaja, who is beyond our senses, right? He has got unlimited potency. We cannot fathom it. We have to understand it through the parampara, right? God will reveal, like how it was revealed to Arjuna, right? How it was revealed to Vyasadeva, right? He was one point focus. So here it is in the end, Prabhupada has written that the best path is to become cool-headed. What does it mean by cool-headed?
Free from anger, Mataji.
Not be anxious, Mataji.
Not be anxious, okay.
Free from duality, free from anxiety.
Free from mental speculation also, Mataji.
Yes. We have to be
keeping silent.
Equipoise.
keeping silent. Can you just elaborate that, Prabhu? Keeping silent means?
Instead of we ourselves imagining, just keeping, just observing.
Yeah, means keeping patient,
Thinking only
right?
about God.
That's Mataji.
Yeah, we have to be patient, right? There are some who immediately they come into, they want to understand the Lord, they want to see the Lord. It is not possible, right? You have to be cool-headed. You have to be submissive. You have to be the devotee of the Lord. You have to hear about the glories of the Lord. To this, just I want to share one thing too. I will show you this Goloka chapter. Is this visible?
Yes,
Yes.
Mataji.
Yes. So we see here, this is the Goloka Vrindavan, right? We all know that in the center we have Radha Krishna. right? And then we have all the Saki, the 8 Ashta Saki, Sakis, right? The gopis, then the Manjiris. Then in all the petals, there are all the Vrindavan pastimes of the Lord. And then in the end, if you very clearly see, at the end of the petal, it is about the Gaur Leela, right? So we understand that in the Gaur Leela, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Krishna himself who had come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Gaur Leela, it is from Goloka Vrindavan. Correct, isn't it? Right? So for this age of Kali, right? For this age of Kali, they have come down to give us the instructions of the Lord, right? We have to, for this age of Kali, it is the Gauranitai, right? That has to be accepted. They are the deities, right? And the process is Sankirtan, right? So we have, if we say that, no, I believe in Krishna, but I do not have any affiliation towards hearing about the Gaur Leela, it is not accepted, right? It is just like, we are doing, our ultimate goal is that we want to go back to Godhead, right? Right. Now from here, I want to go to US. There are various embassies, right? US embassies, there are US officials. We have to approach them. Only then we will get the visa, right? Similarly, right? We for this Kali Yuga, it is, this is the they have come down. They have come back as the the ambassadors. So following that representative, we can go back to Goloka, right? Following that process of Sankirtana that is recommended for this age of Kali, we can go back to Godhead. Therefore, we have to be submissive. We have to be surrendered. Then only, and we have to take up the shelter of a spiritual master. If we believe, if we have faith in Krishna, we have faith in all, because there is no difference between Nama, Rupa, Leela qualities of Lord Krishna, right? So what is recommended? If you're suffering from a disease, this is a medicine that is prescribed. You have, even though if you do not like it, but you have to take that medicine, then only you will be cured of that disease. Similarly, in this age of Kali, it is this form that has to be followed, this process that has to be followed, and you have to serve the Lord in the transcendental loving service. Take up the shelter of the bona fide spiritual master, and you can go back to Godhead. And this Maitra Muni is telling that even after so much realization, he is telling that I cannot describe about the full in length about the pastimes of the Lord. He said that now he will tell that even though I have limited knowledge, yet I will speak about the glories of the Lord to whatever I know. Hare Krishna, can we go on to the third?
Mataji, 1 second, Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Cool-headed, you there mentioned, in our practice, in our regular practice, in regular life, to what extent we have to keep silent in all circumstances.
Not silent, Prabhu. You have, it should be tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadakshanti tvejnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. Silent means you can ask your doubts in a submissive way with the intention of progressing, not refuting, right?
Okay.
Not refuting. You should be patient. Don't be in a mood that Lord should see me. Be in a mood that because of your activities, the Lord will see you.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Mataji. I understand. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yes. 36th verse. Sudha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Pranam.
Tatapi kayami anga yata mati yata shrutam kitim hare swam satkartum giram anyabhidhasi satim. Translation by Divine Srila Prabhupada.
We can ask someone to read Mataji, Karpavalli Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Translate. Hari Bol. There's only 20 minutes more, Mataji. Sindhu Mataji.
May I, Mataji?
Hare
Yes.
Krishna Mataji. Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Translation. Translation by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In spite of my inability, whatever I have been able to hear from the spiritual master and whatever I could assimilate, I am now describing in glorification of the Lord by pure speech, for otherwise my power of speaking would remain unchaste.
Haribol.
Purport. Haribol.
So here we see that all the senses have been given to us. There are controlling deities. Then in the after saying all that, Maitremuni is telling that, but I am not able to understand fully. But still he is saying, but I will, whatever I have heard, I will speak. That is, it is speaking about preaching. Only when you speak about the Lord, that power, that senses which you have given, that will achieve its perfection. Sindhu Mata ji can read the purport.
Yes, I'll continue, Mataji.
Acha, you had read now, Mataji.
Yeah,
No,
I
but
did
then we can
translate.
ask. Yeah, okay. Divya Mataji can take up the purport.
Mataji, is it Divya ji only, Mataji? Divya book.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandavad Pranams. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The purification of the conditioned soul necessitates purification.
Haribol, you're muted, Mataji.
Presence of consciousness. Presence of the transcendental soul is verified, and as soon as consciousness leaves the body, the material body is not active. Consciousness is perceived, therefore, by activities.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji, and
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna. Yeah, the consciousness, right? We need, it necessitates the purification of our consciousness, right? And how the consciousness can be purified, it is because consciousness is there. It is by our activities, we understand that there is consciousness, right? Here it is said that consciousness cannot be silent. It cannot be still even for a moment. It has to do some activity. But what the empiric philosopher says that it can remain inactive. No. If it is inactive means we are dreaming. Even there, it is doing some activity. It is some thinking about certain things, right? So the consciousness is always engaged. So for that, he said that in order to avoid that unchaste conscious activities, what we have to do, we have to describe unlimited glories of the Lord. It is, although he did not have the ability to describe them perfectly. When Prabhupada initial disciples, Shyamasundar Prabhu and Malati Mataji, they had a daughter, small Saraswati, she was so small, but she knew who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is. Everywhere she would go and ask. Everyone she would ask, who is Supreme Personality of Godhead? It is Lord Krishna. Who? So then Prabhupada would say that she is the best preacher because she knows the ultimate, that who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So even preaching is, it is a service that we are doing. We are engaging our mind and words, speaking about the glories of the Lord. So whatever we have heard, that becomes realized. We realize it. That is, we assimilate it. We come into the absorption when we talk about it, right? So that is what is said. Never mind if you have heard, you do not know fully. It is difficult also to know. That is what in the earlier verse it said. It is very difficult to understand. But we should engage ourselves preaching about the Lord, right? By preaching about the Lord, you yourself also come closer to the Lord, and you help others also to come closer to the Lord, right? So here it is that it is not it is not possible to repeat all that you have heard, right? Yes, but at least you narrate what you have heard. Pick up the points. Like today we attended this class. What were the main points that was said, right? You cannot understand the Lord fully because we have limited. But whatever we have heard, we can speak about it, right? When we speak, what does it say? That our consciousness should be directed around the right path. And how can our consciousness be directed around the right path? Only when how can it be purified? Only when we hear and speak about the glories of the Lord. We should engage our body in the transcendental glorification of the Lord, and then only it will become purified. That is why we here in our ISKCON, we have Tridandi Sannyasi. Tridandi, they have control over their mind, words, and activities. All this is used in the service of the Lord and not ekadante sannyasi, where they are trying to be one with the Lord. No, that is wrong. This is what is being addressed in this verse. So they say that when we use that, our speech, our ability to speak, right? When we use it in the service of the Lord, then our function, that organ, or that becomes perfect. Right? Ambrisha Maharaj, he used all his senses, isn't it? He used his eyes to see the form of the Lord, his tongue to preach about the Lord and to taste prasadam, his hands to clean the temple of the Lord, his body, he used it for that, his leg to visit to the places of pilgrimage. That is how we have to engage ourselves. We may not have the full knowledge, but we should have the correct knowledge of the Lord, and that is through what we have heard through a bona fide spiritual master, right? So this is it says that we have to offer our consciousness. So how do we offer our consciousness? We offer our consciousness by chanting the holy name, right? We have to keep chanting the holy names of the Lord. Further, this is what it is said in the 36th verse. Further, the 37th verse. Divya Desai Mataji or Suma Mataji, any one of you all can take up the verb.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji. Dandavat pranam.
Pranam.
Ekantalabham vachaso pumsam sushlokamaulir gunavadamahu srutescha vitvadbhirupakrita upakritayam katha shudhayam upasamprayogam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the very nice verse, which says that Ekanta Labham, there is nothing in comparison to Vachano Pumsan, discussing about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is only that which can help us to overcome this material world. Yes. The translation by Divya Desai Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The highest perfectional gain of humanity is to engage in discussions of the activities and glories of the pious actor. Such activities are so nicely arranged in writing by the greatly learned sages that the actual purpose of the year is served just by being near them. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams.
Haribol. The purport, anybody else who have raised and not got the chance can take up.
Shall I, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. The purport of Prabhupada ki jai. The impersonalists are very much afraid of hearing the activities of the Lord because they think that the happiness derived from the transcendental situation of Brahman is the ultimate goal of life. They think that anyone's activity, even that of the personality of Godhead, is mundane. But the idea of happiness indicated in this verse is different because it relates to the activities of the Supreme Personality who has transcendental qualities. The word Gunavatam is significant because the qualities of the Lord and his activities and pastimes are the subject matter for the discussions of devotees. A rishi like Maitreya is certainly not interested in discussing anything pertaining to mundane qualities. Yet he sees that the highest perfection or the perfectional stage of transcendental realization is to discuss the Lord's activity. Srila Jiva Goswami therefore concludes that topics regarding the transcendental activities of the Lord are far beyond the transcendental realization of Kaivalya happiness. These transcendental activities of the Lord are so arranged in writing by the great sages that simply by hearing those narrations, one becomes perfectly realized, and the proper use of the ear and the tongue is also achieved. Thank you, Mataji. Dandatna.
Yeah. The last line it says that
Shall I continue, Mataji?
No problem. Haribol Mataji. Shrimad Bhagavatam is one such great. Okay.
Shrimad Bhagavatam is one such great literature, and the highest perfectional state of life is attained simply by hearing and reciting its contents. Thank you,
Correct.
Mataji.
So here it says that there is nothing other than the glorifying the Lord, right? Because otherwise, whatever we hear, this year becomes perfect when we hear about the glories of the Lord. Otherwise, it is just considered to be same, that whole, the year whole is considered to be, what the comparison is given as the whole of a snake. It is nothing more than that. Even when you speak, if you do not speak of the glories of the Lord, it is some said that it is just similar to the croaking of the frog. The frog at night, it keeps croaking only to attract the snake, and thus it becomes the prey to it, right? So similarly, when many things, mundane activity that is going on, that will not bring us any happiness or will not give any solution to our misery. In fact, it is said that it will only add to our anxiety. Therefore, it is said that we should hear, right? You should speak about the glories of the Lord. Only the glorification of the Lord can help it, because Lord is God, Supreme Personality of the Lord is considered as Uttama Shloka Gunanuvada. That is, He is the famous. He is famous among the best of the good people, right? Only He can provide us liberation from this. Only speaking about His glory can provide us liberation. And even the devotees are also considered as Uttama Shloka. Why? Because these pure devotees, it is Brahma Samhita is Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achinta Gunaswarupam Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. These pure devotees, they always have, they say Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochan. They have put the ointment of love in their eyes. That is, they are always in every aspect 24/7. They are speaking, seeing, doing activities only for the pleasure of the Lord. That is why, being pleased, they get the mercy of the Lord, and they can see the Lord. The Sham Sundar form of the Lord appears in their heart. So it is said that for us, it is for a sadhaka, it is said that it is best to glorify the devotees, because all the activities of the devotees are connected with the Lord. So indirectly, we are serving the Lord. So Narottama Das Thakura, in his poem, he says that Thadiya Vaishnava Seva Nishtara Paiche Kheba. That means you can get liberated from these material contamination only if you are serving the devotee of the Krishna, right? When you are serving the devotee through your words and speech and action, that means you are getting purified. That is why it said that you serve the devotee of the Lord. You serve your spiritual master. Follow the instruction of the spiritual master, because you are not so qualified enough that you can directly serve the Supreme Lord. So it should be that for the best is to serve the devotees of the Lord. As a sadhaka, we should glorify the Lord. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, 20th chapter, the 61st verse, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that, only when you see a dear Vaishnava, when you see a Vaishnava, your eyes become purified, right? And when you touch his lotus feet of the Vaishnava, of a Vaishnava, that organ and that functionality of touch, that subtle senses of touch, that becomes purified. And when you glorify about the Lord, your tongue gets perfect. It achieves the perfection. So that is why, because a pure devotee, it is considered, the comparison Prabhupada always gives is that a pure devotee is just like a sun, right? Sun is so far away. And sometimes we say that because of the cloud, we cannot see that. That cloud is our illusion. But the sun can never be covered by the cloud, just like a pure devotee of the Lord. Though they are in this material world, but they never come under the illusion of Maya. They are never in this darkness. They are also another comparison which Prabhupada gives is that of the diamond and the gold ring, right? When the diamond in a gold ring, both are glorified. The diamond looks more bright, right? Even the gold ring looks Very nice. So both are glorified. So the diamond is Lord Krishna and the gold ring is the devotees who are always. So both are opulent. So we should always, as a sadhaka, we should always engage ourselves in glorifying the devotees, whatever they do, their activities, and that gives us the takes us to the realization. And there are various books for us. The recommended is Shrimad Bhagavatam and Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. They are the highest literature which gives us, which takes us to the stage of perfection. So simply by hearing and reciting it, we can achieve perfection. So this is what is today we learned, that though we cannot know him fully, but still we should engage in preaching about the Lord, and we have to glorify him by glorifying the devotees of the Lord. So just a summary of what we did in 35, 36 and 37. Somebody can read. Chandana Mataji, you can read.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams. 35. Who can estimate the transcendental time, work, and potency of the gigantic form manifested by the Lord's internal potency, that is Yogamaya Balodayam? Humble Maitreya Muni feels unworthy to describe the Lord's glories. 36. Glorification despite inability. In spite of many inability, I glorify Lord Hari with whatever I have been able to hear from my Guru and assimilate with my intelligence. Otherwise, my power of speaking would remain unchaste. Tatapi Kirtayamyanga Yathamati Yatha Shrutam Kirtim Hare Swam Satkartum Giram Anyadbhida Satim. 37. Highest perfectional gain. Glorifying the pious actor is the highest perfectional gain of human speech. The Lord's activities are nicely put in writing by the learned, and the purpose of ear is served by being near them. Ekanta labham vachasonupumsam shushloka mauler gunarvadam ahuhu. Shrutescha vidvabhir upakritayam katha sudhayam upasamprayogam.
Very good.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Then there is one quote by Srila Prabhupada. It says that Radha Krishna. Radha's name is first. Why? Nobody can be better devotee than Radha Rani. As soon as Radha's name is there, Krishna is more pleased. That is the way. If we glorify the devotees, the character of the devotees before if we glorify the devotees and the character of the devotees before the Lord, he is more pleased than to glorify himself than directly. So, wishing you all a very happy Radhashtami celebration, which is tomorrow. Always engage in ourselves in glorifying the great devotees of the Lord, their characteristics. That will help in our liberation. Hari Om Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, tomorrow fasting till 12 o'clock. After
Yes,
that, we will take
Mataji.
Ekadasi Prasad after that? Or
Normal Prasad, Mataji. Tomorrow we have to cook all the delicacies which is favorite for Srimati Radharani, especially the Arvi.
Could you repeat,
thank you,
Mataji?
Mataji.
Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
What is
Tomorrow we
favorite,
have
Mataji?
Arbi. What we call Arbi. Yeah. It is a root which is very favorite that you should not miss it. That's the thing.
Tapioca, Mataji? Is it what?
It is tapioca, no, Mataji. Tapioca is different. This is different.
It's like aloo, but it has different forms, and
Yeah.
it's like a brownish on top, little hair on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slimy. It is very
Yes,
slimy.
slimy, yeah. Colocasia.
Taro root.
Tari root.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I have one doubt.
Yes,
Mataji, is it this universal form and gigantic form both are same?
Yeah.
Both are same, Mataji, or
Yeah,
different?
they are. You see, you can say that it is the same, the imaginary form of the Lord, which is given for a purpose. In universal form, you can see the 1,000-headed, with different eyes and thousands of eyes, legs, arms, and then it is almost the same Prabhu, you can say. The Virata Rupa and the universal form, or we can, or in the Virata Rupa, when we see the picture, it is like, the distinction is made, like how the eyes are the sun and the moon, the mountains are the trees are the hairs, and the lower abdomen are the different planets. That way the description gives for us, for a neophyte to understand. Haribol.
Yes, yeah. It's a universal form only, whatever you explained. That.
Yes. The Virata Rupa.
Yeah,
the Vishwarupa form.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, I just wanted to find out for tomorrow, can we do any offering to Srimati Radharani and then take it as prasadam after 12 o'clock, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. It is fasting till 12, and after that, normal prasadam we can have. Prepare a feast, Mataji. Mal poha, arvi root, sabzi, whatever. Then the Raslila rice. Only delicacies are there, Mataji. Offer it for the
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Pleasing the devotees of the Lord, very easily we can get the visa back to God.
That should be offered to Krishna first and then Mataji, only then to Radha.
Krishna, yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Seek your blessings, Mataji.
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
I didn't understand what is Tridanda Sannyasi. Even I remember like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had the Sannyasi Danda broken by Nityananda Prabhu. But what is Ekadanda, Tridanda? I didn't understand.
Tridanda means the mind, words, and activities. Always thinking about the glories of the Lord. If you are using your words to speak about the glories of the Supreme Person and all the activities you are doing, you are controlling all that for the pleasure of the Lord, not engaging in other mundane activities. Ekadanda is trying to be one with the Lord. The oneness, merge with the Lord. That is not.
Okay, thank you.
You can remember as BMW. Body, mind, and words.
Yes. Body, mind, and words. Yes, Mataji. That is a good acronym.
Hari Bol Padma Mataji.
Hari Bol Mataji.
Ramakrishna Prabhu, you want to ask something?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Mataji, you have shown there's Goloka chart. Na? Can you place that Goloka chart here, Mataji?
Okay, Prabhu.
That picture quality is very good here. Like whatever you're shown, and we can understand easily. We can see that this form.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. Can you put this in this
link?
chart?
I think Mataji, Prabhu is asking a link in the chat box.
Okay, yes, I will put it, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Even
yes,
Ramakrishna Prabhu, if you will go into the Google and you will type Goloka chart.
Mataji, I did that one, but that font, that picture quality, it is not good as much. This.
Yeah, right. So it is like the parts of Goloka chart is also there. Like Mataji is showing the upper part and then the middle part and then the material world. So you will get all these parts. Okay, fine. Mataji, you just you can post it. Yeah, please.
And one more thing, Mataji, just like you have explained this summary and all those these details are there, no? In the you shared that this presentation.
It is all from Subodhini. Subodhini.
Can we get that, Mataji, Subodhini, the soft copy?
Okay, Prabhu. I'll try.
Sure, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Another excellent session. And the best part of your sessions is that you are first taking the revision, and that too detailed revision, extensive revision, which I think all the devotees, they like it very much.
Yes,
so
Mataji.
thank you, Mataji.
Actually, we reviewed each and every that slokas from this to this, like that one. It's a very good.
True. And also the verses with beautiful explanations. So thank you so much, Mataji. We want your association always. And happy Radha Ashtami to all of you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, same to you all, Matajis.
Hare Krishna
Manchari
Mataji.
Garbati Gobincha, Kripa Sindhu
Radha-Ashtami to all.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for the wonderful class.
Hare
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Krishna. We'll end,
Shall I
Mataji.